1. The Oak Tree and the Reeds. The oak tree always thought that he was far stronger than the reeds. He said to himself, "I stand upright in storm. I don't bend my head in fear every time the wind blows. But these reeds are really so weak." That very night blew a storm and the mighty oak tree was uprooted. "Thank God," sighed the reeds, "our way is better. We bend, but we don't break." 2. You cannot please everyone. A man and his son were once going with their donkey to market. As they were walking along by its side, a countryman passed them and said, "You fool, what a donkey for but to ride is upon." So the man put the boy on the donkey and they went on their way. But soon they passed a group of men, one of whom said, "See that lazy youngster. He lets his father walk while he rides." So the man ordered his boy to get off and got on himself. But they hadn't gone far when they passed two women, one of whom said to the other, "Shame on that lazy lout to let his poor little son trudge along." Well, the man did not know what to do. But at last he took his boy up before him on the donkey. By this time they had come to the town and the passers-by began to jeer and point at them. The man stopped and asked what they were scoffing at. The men said, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself for overloading that poor donkey of yours, you and your hulking son?" The man and boy got off and tried to think what to do. They thought and they thought, till at last they cut down a pole, tied the donkey's feet to it, and raised the pole and the donkey to their shoulders. They went along amid the laughter of all who met them till they came to Market Bridge, when the donkey, getting one of his feet loose, kicked out and caused the boy to drop his end of the pole. In the struggle the donkey fell over the bridge, and his 4 feet being tied together, he was drowned. "That will teach you," said an old man who had followed them. Moral: you cannot please everyone. 3. Good you do, evil you do. A woman baked chapati, roti, for members of her family and an extra one for a hungry passerby. She kept the extra chapati on the window sill for whosoever would take it away. Every day, a hunchback came and took away the chapati. Instead of expressing gratitude, he muttered the following words as he went his way: "The evil you do remains with you. The good you do comes back to you." This went on, day after day. Every day, the hunchback came, picked up the chapati and uttered the words, "The evil you do remains with you. The good you do comes back to you." The woman felt irritated. Not a word of gratitude. She said to herself, "Every day this hunchback utters this jingle. What does he mean?" One day, exasperated, she decided to do away with him. "I shall get rid of this hunchback," she said. And what did she do? She added poison to the chapati she prepared for him. As she was about to keep it on the window sill, her hands trembled. "What is this I am doing?" she said. Immediately, she threw the chapati into the fire, prepared another one, and kept it on the window sill. As usual, the hunchback came, picked up the chapati and muttered the words, "The evil you do remains with you, the good you do comes back to you. The hunchback proceeded on his way, blissfully unaware of the war raging in the mind of the woman. Every day, as the woman placed the chapati on the window sill, she offered a prayer for her son who had gone to a distant place to seek his fortune. For many months, she had no news of him. She prayed for his safe return. That evening, there was a knock on the door. As she opened it, she was surprised to find her son standing in the doorway. He had grown thin and lean. His garments were tattered and torn. He was hungry, starved and weak. As he saw his mother, he said, "Mom, it's a miracle I'm here. While I was but a mile away, I was so famished that I collapsed. I would have died, but just then an old hunchback passed by. I begged of him for a morsel of food, and he was kind enough to give me a whole chapati. As he gave it to me, he said, 'This is what I eat every day. Today, I shall give it to you, for your need is greater than mine.'" As the mother heard those words, her face turned pale. She leaned against the door for support. She remembered the poisoned chapati that she had made that morning. Had she not burnt it in the fire, it would have been eaten by her own son, and he would have lost his life. It was then that she realized the significance of the words. The evil you do remains with you, the good you do comes back to you. Moral: do good and don't ever stop doing good, even if it is not appreciated at that time. If you like this, share it with others, and I bet so many lives would be touched. For burial of the car. One of the richest and most powerful men in Brazil made waves when he announced plans to bury his million-dollar Bentley so he could drive around his afterlife in style. He received lots of media attention, mostly negative, and was severely criticized for the extravagant gesture and wasting of a precious commodity. Why wouldn't he donate the car to charity? How out of touch with reality is this guy? He still went ahead with the ceremony. But there's a twist. Moments before lowering the car in the ground prepared for the burial of his Bentley, he declared that he wouldn't bury his car, and then revealed his genuine motive for the drama, just to create awareness for organ donation. People condemn me because I wanted to bury a million-dollar Bentley. In fact, most people bury something a lot more valuable than my car, he said during a speech at the ceremony. They bury hearts, livers, lungs, eyes, kidneys. This is absurd. So many people waiting for a transplant, and you bury your healthy organs that could save so many lives. Think about it, and if you agree, share among your friends and relatives. 5. The 8 Monkeys. This is reportedly based on an actual experiment conducted in the UK. Put 8 monkeys in a room. In the middle of the room is a ladder, leading to a bunch of bananas hanging from a hook on the ceiling. Each time a monkey tries to climb the ladder, all the monkeys are sprayed with ice water, which makes them miserable. Soon enough, whenever a monkey attempts to climb the ladder, all of the other monkeys, not wanting to be sprayed, set upon him and beat him up. Soon, none of the 8 monkeys ever attempts to climb the ladder. One of the original monkeys is then removed, and a new monkey is put in the room. Seeing the bananas and the ladder, he wonders why none of the other monkeys are doing the obvious. But undaunted, he immediately begins to climb the ladder. All the other monkeys fall upon him and beat him silly. He has no idea why. However, he no longer attempts to climb the ladder. A second original monkey is removed and replaced. The newcomer again attempts to climb the ladder, but all the other monkeys hammer the crap out of him. This includes the previous new monkey, who, grateful that he not on the receiving end this time, participates in the beating because all the other monkeys are doing it. However, he has no idea why he attacking the new monkey. One by one, all the original monkeys are replaced. 8 new monkeys are now in the room. None of them have ever been sprayed by ice water. None of them attempt to climb the ladder. All of them will enthusiastically beat up any new monkey who tries, without having any idea why. And that is how traditions, religions, and systems get established and followed. 6. The year that wasn't. A famous writer was in his study room. He picked up his pen and started writing. Last year, I had a surgery and my gallbladder was removed. I had to stay stuck to the bed due to this surgery for a long time. The same year I reached the age of 60 years and had to give up my favorite job. I had spent 30 years of my life in this publishing company. The same year I experienced the sorrow of the death of my father. And in the same year my son failed in his medical exam because he had a car accident. He had to stay in bed at hospital with the cast on for several days. The destruction of car was another loss. At the end he wrote, "Alas! It was such bad year." When the writer's wife entered the room, she found her husband looking sad and lost in his thoughts. From behind his back she read what was written on the paper. She left the room silently and came back with another paper and placed it on side of her husband's writing. When the writer saw this paper, he found his name written on it with following lines. Last year I finally got rid of my gallbladder due to which I had spent years in pain. I turned 60 with sound health and got retired from my job. Now I can utilize my time to write something better with more focus and peace. The same year my father, at the age of 95, without depending on anyone or without any critical condition, met his Creator. The same year, God blessed my son with a new life. My car was destroyed, but my son stayed alive without getting any disability. At the end she wrote, "This year was an immense blessing of God and it passed well." The writer was indeed happy and amazed at such beautiful and encouraging interpretation of the happenings in his life in that year. Moral: in daily lives, we must see that it's not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy.